What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the PARRAdise Podcast. Your official Eels podcast sponsor is brought to you by Remitly, the fast, safe and secure way to send your money to loved ones. Now, we're joined by Kennedy. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. It's been a year. I've been good.
Talk to me.
Lots happened in 12 months.
It has.
Like we were sitting in this exact couch 12 months ago before our last season. A lot's happened, a lot's changed, but, you know, a lot of energy to approach the new season coming up. I'm really excited. There's been a lot of new changes, which...
Talk to us a little bit about the changes. You're in pre-season camp right now. The new, first game starts soon, is it?
Yeah, very soon. 27th July, we kick off against the mighty Broncos. But a lot's changed in terms of coaching as well. We've got a new coach.
Yeah, how's the new coach?
Stephen Georgalis, amazing. I think for our team to move forward, he is exactly what we needed.
Okay, mate.
I have been really enjoyed. He knows how to communicate, and he's a girl dad. So if you understand...
so he kind of gets that feeling out
I think people like to treat us as little boys or little men, but we're not men, we're women. So having a coach who understands and knows how to communicate language is very important in how to educate someone, whether it's teaching them how to be a part of a culture, build a culture, or even footy, learn footy and play what's in front of you, and giving that confidence. I think he's been really, really good for me personally, and I know the other girls have really enjoyed having him so far. So
mad. And outside of footy, what you been doing now? So you're doing a little bit modelling now, a little JBL.
I wish.
You're doing it all, yeah.
I've got a lot of things going on. Traveling here or there. Went to the Australian Open. Got invited to a Super Bowl party actually as well.
How's
that was pretty cool. JBL's been amazing. It's obviously one of my personal sponsors. Just living life. I just take every opportunity as it comes and want to just... I have a big thing with, not saying no. It's probably one of my worst traits is not saying no.
I think that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I like to do everything, but at times I've felt like probably I've said yes to too many things because I have FOMO. It probably takes a toll on my mental health. You'd know too that, saying no is probably a really powerful trait to have.
Yeah, it's powerful. And before we segment into the next segment, can we get your thoughts on the women's origin?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, last year you were involved in it. This year you're not involved in it, unfortunately. Hopefully you'll get back there as well. But what was it like watching it just as a fan almost?
Yeah, no, look, the first game, amazing. New South Wales come out very powerful, very strong from the get-go. Fortunately, I wasn't a part of it this year, didn't get selected, but I love when people count me out. I show them that,
there we go.
I want to be there and I'll give you a reason not to pick me next year. But look at that 20,000 crowd they have, inspirational. I'm all for the women's game, and if we can continue this momentum into the NRLW season, we're going to new levels this year, next year and the year after. But unfortunate for them to pull up short, but you can never count Queensland out, especially when you've got the likes of Taryn Aitken, Ali Brigginshaw, some of my Australian teammates. But I think that series was never really anyone's until Game 3. People probably thought that.
Really close.
Yeah, I know you did some content over who's who. New South Wales looked strong from the get-go, but again, same in the men's, you can't count Queensland out.
Now, I'll leave you to intro our amazing guest.
Yes, so on the podcast today we have a very special guest. I'm very biased in saying that she's my favourite fullback. 2023 season player of the year, equal most capped Eel in the NRLW alongside myself. PMs, which is Prime Minister 13's representative last year in PNG, and the most amazing person, so humble and one of the most hardworking person I know, and probably in the whole NRLW, Abbi Church.
Abbi, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for that intro.
You know me, I'm the biggest.
She always big
always ultimate hype girl, honestly.
Yeah, she is the best.
I got to do what you got to do.
Having a bad day, go to Ken's. She'll hype me up.
Oh, stop.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
And how's the pre-season been with this one? How you guys get trotting along?
Yeah, it's obviously been good. As Ken said, we've got a new coach. We've got a lot of fresh faces in the squad, so... it's been different this year round. The whole structure of pre-season's been very different. Good different.
Yeah, good different. Very good different.
Definitely. I know personally I can speak on behalf of myself, but I've learnt so much already in the short time that we've all had together as a squad, and I think Georgie really brings a wealth of experience and knowledge, and he's, as Ken's already alluded to, he's definitely going to be the best thing for us
I'm
moving
feeling
forward.
strong. Are
Yeah,
you?
absolutely. I'm
The
very
girls look
confident.
buff.
Yeah.
The girls look good, fit, fast, strong.
That's good to hear. And there's a lot of younger athletes coming through with you guys as well. Are you guys being mentors for those younger?
Yeah, I think Abbi and I both still think we're part of the youngin group. But, one season we go from the young group to the old girls and we're like, oh, okay,
Yeah, we're definitely
25.
the old girls now. It's hard when it's they look up at us when I still feel like the baby in the team. But yeah.
Definitely, but
trying to be a mentor for them, I guess.
the younger girls are killing it though. Man, we had our first Harvey Norman game on the weekend and first game historic for the season for the club as well. They beat Manly, which was so good, and a few of our players got to play down there. And I know 2 of the girls were a part of the under-19s. You want to talk about Lindsay as well? How she's just been
Lindsay's insane.
One to look out for?
Definitely one to look out for. And unfortunately she did have a bit of an injury in the State of Origin, but such a tough cookie. Like literally scored a try.
With a broken jaw.
With a broken jaw in 2 places, mind
me.
you. So tough, and then played out the rest of the game with that injury. So she's definitely a talent to look out for in the future.
Amazing. And Abbi, who are you away from, when you're not playing footy?
This is a fun story.
Yeah, I hate this question. As Ken's kind of
alluded to.
I'm a paramedic outside of footy. That's my job. Before I started football. So, but outside of that, like I'm just me. I'm an auntie.
She kind of just brushed that off a bit.
That's not a
No,
casual. Do you know what I mean?
You're a paramedic. Stand on business, my friend. Stand on business.
You've seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah. What goes on? How do you even become a paramedic? I have no clue.
Yeah, it was a decision I made in high school. So I decided to go down the pathway of going straight to uni. So finished my HSC, got into uni, did 3 years there, and then was lucky enough to get a job. At the time, it was quite competitive and it was quite difficult to get a job. But yeah, I took 12 months on road as an intern, and then they sent me, as they can, they send you anywhere in the state. So I spent 6 months out in the country and then come back to Sydney, and I've been a paramedic for about 5 years.
So what area do you work in?
I work Southwest Sydney.
So if you're in Southwest Sydney and you've called 000 and the paramedic rocks up, it might be Abbi.
Yeah. How does it work with footy and also balancing that in terms of times? Because aren't your shifts pretty crazy being a paramedic?
Yeah, so I do 12 hours. So 12 hours at a minimum. So often you get sort of the overtime as well. Which makes it very hard when we've got a strict training schedule. So the first season was really difficult. I had to sort of do a lot of shift swaps.
Yeah, and I remember her coming to training, she was wrecked. You could just see it in her eyes.
Coming off night shifts and
no sleep.
No pattern, no routine.
Yeah.
So that was hard. So then I kind of had to think about what I was going to do that was going to make doing both a bit easier. And I'm fortunate enough at the moment that I can drop down part-time and do sort of a set shift per week.
Well, it's been really nice to have that structure that we've, that good different feel to this season approaching. KP, our manager, has been onto it with our schedule. BJ, our S&C, is really clear and concise in what time gym is and what time prep is, and then our coach has really brought that professionalism to our female program. So for someone like you who needs dates months in advance.
KP sent me the schedule like 6 months in advance.
Yeah, she did to me too.
She was like, I know you need it. I know you need to get the time off work. Very lucky.
Makes such a difference. Abbi, you just got back from Europe. Tell us about
the Euro trip.
Yeah, tell us about obviously
Euro, not summer, but Euro.
You said that sometimes your season working paramedic. How do you take time for yourself? Tell us. I need some tips.
Yeah, you honestly do. We often have conversations about you.
Always on.
Yeah, you're always on.
No, I mean, I tell you all the time, Ken's like, you need to take a break.
Yeah,
but I'm a do as I say, not as I do. So I like to be busy too. But I really do like to just have a bit of time to myself and unwind. So I'm lucky I get annual leave, which is how I managed to go to Europe.
Yeah.
And then having to work that around footy season is the next challenge. But
Where did you go?
Pardon?
Where did you go?
Yeah,
Where did I go?
Tell us,
I did the classic Euro trip, the little Kentucky, the
little
fast
Kentucky,
pace.
yeah.
So I did all the hot spots and went to London and
Greece,
Paris.
London, Paris. Yeah.
And then I finished up in Greece.
Favorite place that you visited?
Oh, in my Kentucky trip, I really love Prague. Prague's very walkable, very beautiful.
What, not London, no?
Yeah, of course I love London. I did. I'm going to go back to London.
okay.
I didn't have
London gives
enough
me Sydney
time
vibes.
there.
What?
I don't know. Sorry.
How?
Okay. Oh, because it was cold and miserable and people
Not
were
all the
rude.
time. Not if you go in the summertime, but it is miserable. It is miserable.
As an NRL and NRLW player, you will never be able to go to a Euro summer trip.
Yeah.
Oh, because
That's
you're
just
seasons.
seasons. It's
Seasons,
just,
yeah.
yeah, I've had to put that to rest until I'm retired. But
I hear it. It's because of scheduling.
Yes,
it makes
exactly.
sense. I get
Yeah.
you.
so, Abby, with obviously the growth of the NRLW, we're actually the originals.
The OGs?
The OGs
I like
from
it.
the first team, which is pretty
Yes,
cool.
the inaugural.
And what have you noticed, I guess, the changes from year one? I know we've spoken about good, different, but in terms of maybe the comp as a structure, the growth and development of the quality of game, what are your thoughts on how we're progressing as a product?
I think we're definitely moving forward in the right direction. I look back at our first year, and obviously there's always going to be some teething issues, but the professionalism from the first year to now has just skyrocketed, and that's like from facilities, from our staff, like everything's just improving every single year. From the comps perspective, obviously we're getting more and more game time.
Games.
Yeah, which is a huge positive, and I think that's how we're going to continue moving forward, is to just be playing more games at that level. But yeah, it's I don't know. You look at the skill level, even the development, the younger girls coming through, the pathways that are being created for the women's NRL and rugby league, and the community engagement and level of participation. Like it's growing as its own right as well, not just as a sort of side to the men's, which I think maybe is what it sort of started out like in the first few years, but now it's like people watch it because they want to watch us and they want to watch the product. So I think it's really cool to even be a part of that. Like, Kenz, you were a part of it before me, but to be a part of it from 4 years ago and see how far it's grown is just really cool.
Yeah, man. Can you believe this is year 4 for you, year 5 for me?
I know.
I feel
You
so
can
old.
answer that question as well.
So
Like, what have you noticed? What have the changes been for you?
Well,
Because you might have two different perspectives.
yeah, well, one thing the playing group immediately, not just Parramatta, but the whole female, is we want more footy. We want more games. That's the only way we're going to get better and move forward as a product, to be more visible out there, to gain more of an audience, untapped audience, I should say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely if we're, looking after, Parramatta have done amazing in the sense of looking after our those little things we were speaking about, like professionalism, what time we're checking in, gym programs, actually like understanding the science behind what we're actually doing. You know, we are really clear with BJ, who is like commando vibes. He scares me. He's our S&C, big presence, and basically gives us the reassurance of what we're doing is, for a female actually, this is kind of my train of thought. Your body image, right? I've put on 3 kilos since we started preseason.
Yeah,
and for
really?
a female, you're like, what the heck is going on? You're like, oh, and I told BJ, I was just like, I feel really uncomfortable. Like, I don't understand, as a female, you're like, oh, less weight, the better. It's just this social norm we've created with body image, especially being an athlete in rugby league. It's so tough, different positions cater for different needs. I'm in the middle, so I have to be a bit heavier. But as long as I can move that weight, like for you, Abs, I've kind of gone off here, but just speaking about like how different it is to the men's program, but how, the science behind it with BJ just knowing exactly what we're doing and weight programs, like it's just so fascinating.
No, absolutely. And I also have put on a bit of weight in pre-season.
It's good, it's muscle.
But yeah.
It's got that muscle. You're building
Yeah, I was
muscle.
going to say, like,
Muscle weighs more than
it's
fat.
training your brain that it's a good thing. Like, and I think, like you said, we're kind of conditioned as females, and then that, we're meant to be smaller and we're meant to be lighter or whatever. But like as female athletes and in this contact sport, it's okay to be a little bit heavier and to put on the muscle. But yeah, BJ's been very good at.
That's the way forward to be an athlete, though.
I remember when I found out he was putting like mass gainer in our protein, and I was like, What?
Yeah, we're
We
drinking
do
What do
like
you
not want this.
mean?
four protein shakes like after every gym session. I'm like, this tastes nice. It's
Yeah, it
basically a
tastes
chocolate
chocolate,
milkshake.
yeah.
Because it's mass gainer.
Thanks,
Holy
BJ. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No worries.
It's not what we want, yeah. But
But that's the way
it's a
forward.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like-
exactly what you need.
Treating
It's
us
actually like
proper.
it's a recovery thing. Like it's a replenishing what you've just put out on the field.
Yeah,
so it's,
exactly.
It's, yeah,
'Cause
the
you weigh
training
out
your
and you're
brain
like-
of like, yeah, it's actually a good thing. It's what we're meant to do. Yeah,
But treating us like athletes is
yeah.
This is probably the first year where I felt like, damn, feels like I'm a full-time athlete. I've had to cut back on work. Like I know you've cut back on your paramedic side, like taking less shifts.
Yeah.
I'm definitely doing that too, and there's a few guys that are doing that. But once we're all at that stage where we can do that and focus on footy, I think that's
when you
when the
see the
level of
maximum.
rugby league will go to a different
But we're
aspect.
reaping the rewards too. Like we're much fitter. Where there's less injuries in our squad than there was over the last few years.
Yeah.
And touch wood, obviously. But
Touch wood, yeah.
yeah, like it's having that high performance
Respect.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely.
Speaking of fitness, what can you run in a Bronco 1.2? if you're
What?
not familiar?
Listen, I'm still recovering.
Do you do 1.2? I know soccer, football, whatever
Well,
you
we
call
don't
it.
know. That's different. We
You
just
even test the
we do the
Bronco?
beep test.
Yeah, beep test.
Yeah, that's
Shuttle
what we
stuff.
shuttle stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I think it's more fitness.
Okay,
A different kind
Righto.
of fitness.
No worries.
Do you know
I
what I mean?
can argue that. No,
We might have to put a poll. Which
you're
one?
speaking to the fittest person in our team, by the way. She
Have
came
you
back from Europe and she was fitter.
Okay, have you played soccer before?
I have.
Okay, which one do you think you were more tired playing?
Rugby
In
league.
terms of, okay, not
You're getting-
physically.
you're getting
Physically, yes.
bashed around, then you have to get up, run
Physically,
more.
yes. But in
You
terms
just
of
get a
running,
little knock. Oh.
yeah, no, I can't even defend the boys on this one. Yeah, no, you're right. It's
No.
definitely you can play less games, but I'm talking about running distance.
Well, you know what? We have to do some content. The girls get you down for a 1.2
yeah,
Bronco.
we'll do it.
Once you're
I'm
fully
free.
recovered, so you know.
You're not
Give me
volunteering
a
for that,
couple
are
more
you?
weeks. Yeah, it's Achilles, That's
So yeah, that's
okay.
Achilles.
And I'll be down to do something for sure.
But actually, Abby is literally like
You're the fittest on the team.
fittest in the team.
Okay.
Tell
I'm
us
not
what
gonna- I'm
you
not gonna
tell
say
us
that.
what you ran in a 1.2. For those who don't know
Right.
what a 1.2 is, it's 20, 40, 60 times 5. It's just a test that we do to.
Isn't that the one
Stuff
where
your head
everyone's like throwing up at the end? Like everyone's like getting really.
Yeah, it depends on how hard you go, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Abby ran sub 5.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
That was my goal. So I got 4:55. But then I was like,
Stand
I'm
on it.
retired. I'm done.
That's crazy.
I can die happy now.
Jeez.
And she
Okay.
came back from Europe and she's still fit. Like when I came back from Europe, I put on 10 kilos. But
Are you one of those people that's like always in decent shape, or like did you have to work to get to this like that base level that you have at the moment?
No, so I grew up playing netball, and I remember there was one year that I had come back after pre-season, and I just, I came back after having the off season for netball and went into pre-season for that, and I just remember thinking, I'm never doing that again because it was so
Hard
hard.
to get back in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
Are you-
I just made that
What about
conscious
you?
decision.
Are you normally like? Are you you have a good
Look.
base level, or it takes you a long time to get to?
It's taken me a while to adapt that professional mindset, especially in your off season. It's like I don't want to let myself go, but I still want to enjoy my downtime. But I got to still stay active in terms of I got to still stay moving and being smarter. I think with the younger ones, they do nothing.
They just-
Yeah.
Especially
they can afford to do that
yeah.
age.
And then when they come back, they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's so hard." It's just like, well,
But
you're
you lot are
walking.
sweet because
yeah,
you've been doing stuff.
we're older now. We're more mature. We understand. More mature.
Or
we
just,
understand.
just smarter.
Yeah.
Make it easier for yourself.
So it's
in
not in terms of
pre-season.
smashing yourself in off season. It's just like still
Oh,
getting
I do.
your kilometers in, going for walks, recovery.
Yeah.
Like it's all about more so refreshing the mind as well. So
And it's good. It's good for you mentally too.
yeah,
to exercise?
got to release them endorphins.
Abby, outside of football, like going back onto like your personal life, what would you say your biggest motivator in life is, or who kind of inspires you to keep playing footy or doing what you're doing at the moment?
That's a hard question.
You can answer it as well if you want.
Oh, let Abby speak. I'm interested. I'm learning stuff about my friend too.
Yeah, I don't know. Like obviously, I have people that I look up to, and I have people that inspire me and motivate me in different ways. Obviously, I look up to my parents. I think they've provided a lot for me and have been the ones who have probably got me here today, like by giving me the best opportunities and driving me around to all these sporting tournaments and games, and always, being there on the sidelines, and even just providing a home for me and schooling and education. Like they are the reason I am the person I am today. So they motivate me to be better and be a better person. But in terms of just like being, I don't know, in a different sense, like, yes, I take on external motivation, but I'm very internally motivated too. Like I'm very competitive. I push myself to be better. Yes. I like being the best. Yeah. I just want to be better every day. I want that 1% improvement.
Yeah. Abbi is one of those teammates that you don't have to worry about motivating her, or when the team needs to get picked up. She's that person that's kind of in that leadership where you're looking for motivation, right? Because she's already that person. And just her work ethic is insane. Like, that's one thing I adore about you. You know, you may not be the biggest, you may not be the strongest, but you will damn well put your body on the line for your teammates. So that's another thing I love about Abbi Church, and I will speak nothing but positivity when I speak about you and to others. And you're definitely someone I look forward to when I come to training. Stop! I'm getting emotional.
Well, before we move on to the next segment, I wanted to ask you, obviously working as a paramedic, are there any crazy stories you could share with us?
Ones you're allowed to, I guess.
I always get asked this question.
Because I can imagine there's some mad stories.
Yeah, I always get asked this question. I find it, again, it's a really hard question to answer. Like, I have a lot of different experiences, and every paramedic that you speak to will have their own experiences. They'll have their own stories. It's really hard because at the end of the day, like, our crazy stories and our, you know, I don't want to say cool, but like the ones where we get to learn a lot from and really make a difference are also someone's worst day. And so to be really sensitive to that too, like, I try not to answer this question, but I have delivered a baby before, so I'll say that one. So that's a really cool one that will stick with me. And then fun fact, like, I've also ran into that family like 2 or 3 years later, so I got to see the baby that I delivered as a toddler.
Did they remember you?
They came up to me, they remembered me, so it was really cool. So it was really like a full circle moment.
I watched, I can't remember what show it is. It's current, maybe it's on Channel 9 or Channel 10, but it's the one where they basically are on the other end of the paramedics, so they're
making the calls.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's a hard job too.
Yeah.
I was so emotional watching that. That was so hard. They put down the phone and they're like, they need a break. They got to like take a 10, 15 minute break.
And a lot of time they don't get the closure too. Like we can, I mean, we don't get closure either, but we can sort of chase a follow up if we really wanted to, or whereas a lot of the time they don't know what's happened, like after the phone's been hung up.
It's kind of just,
it's a hard job.
Signed, sealed, delivered. Yeah. I guess for one thing about, like, would you want to say anything, I guess, to the audience listening to like push for something for our paramedics? I know it's just something that I think we are not more aware of in terms of what goes on in that life. Like, I don't know, anything you'd love to shout out to your paramedics or in that work industry that you'd love to share with us or anything, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Like, it's...
Like respect use more. I don't know, not respect, but like to just be more, I guess... What's the word, like, you know what I mean?
No, I don't actually. No idea where you're going with that one, but I can try and piggyback off it. More gratitude for paramedics.
Towards our paramedics, because I feel like you guys aren't, you know, we don't
shout you guys out enough. You know, we don't give you guys enough love. Yeah, you guys are heroes.
Yeah, I think it's hard because a lot of the time it comes down to what's being put out there about us, and obviously there was something not that long ago about us trying to get a pay rise and that all in the media, and I think people don't realise a lot of the time that as much as it is put out there, like, it's not just the overtime, or it's not just, you know, that we're not getting paid enough or whatever. It's that we might go back-to-back jobs of just like emotional drainage. Like, it's hard to then put your best foot forward for the next one when you're still kind of reeling about the last one.
Yeah, that mental space you're in.
It is a lot of us and a lot of paramedics. I think you've got to be able to put that aside, and you've got to be able to sort of separate yourself from each job, which takes some time to work that out, but eventually it catches up. Like, and there's a real big thing with like compassion fatigue, and a lot of time we go home and we're so drained from giving everything all day, and our family members are the ones that sort of suffer, and like, you just go home and you're so exhausted and you can't give what you need to give to your family. So shout out to our families for being the biggest
That's exactly what I was
support.
Yes.
Yeah, and like obviously I'll shout out all my colleagues. Like everyone does a great job, and we do our best for the community. Sometimes we're not there as fast as we would like, but yeah, it's
I'd
hard.
love a night out with you guys. That would be an interesting, just like all the paramedics sitting around just telling stories. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Very
Interesting. It's interesting dinner table conversations. Yeah, if you
the
sit around the
conversations you'd
table,
hear,
it's a bit gross, but
We just wanted to give a huge shout out to our new partner, Remitly, the official international money transfer partner of the Parramatta Eels. Trusted by millions of customers to send money to their loved ones abroad, Remitly makes it easy to transfer money in over 100 currencies. And thanks to Remitly's great exchange and low fees, more of the money you send makes it to your family and friends. So download the Remitly app and start sending money today.
So last segment we'll go into is called Six Again, which is where we ask like different questions about you or about athletes. So the first one is, if you're trapped with any teammate on a tropical island, who would it be?
I'm actually going to go with Kennedy.
I was going to say,
Don't just do that because she's
I
here.
was trying to think of
Come
someone
on.
different, but I was like, no, I actually would choose
Kennedy's
Kennedy.
looking like, pick me.
I was going to say, why not me? I feel like Abby would be the brains and I'd be like the positive energy. We can
Literally,
get through this.
Yeah, we're a good
We'll
team.
be okay.
Yeah.
Yes, because you were going to be mine too. Okay, question 2. If you could be anyone for a day, who would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna stick with our team. I want to go with Mia.
Mia.
I want to know what goes on inside her head.
Oh,
You know
wow.
that TikTok channel? What goes on inside
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Mia. Mia Middleton, everyone, we call her Dory.
we gotta
Yes,
get her on
I
the pod
love
then.
her so
We call her
much.
Dory.
I want to know what she thinks about.
Self-explanatory. She's kind of
She's so funny, honestly.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
one of those
That's a
beautiful
good-
people.
Normally
Yeah.
people go with celebrities but that's
I know.
that's a
You
good
put me
one.
on the spot, but
We
I'm
can-
going to go with
we-
Mia. That'd be interesting for
We'll
a day.
take that
This
one.
next one will be interesting.
Any game day superstitions or rituals?
I didn't think that I did, but
I feel like you kind of low-key have some
I think I
watching you.
Okay, so-
do. Yeah.
What do
I
you
don't
do?
know.
She's just very organised, like very, you
so
know
like-
that she's, I wouldn't say rituals or superstitions, but
Yeah, I'm
very strict routine.
Yeah, I'm not like I'm kind
Come
of
on.
superstitious, but I don't have like a routine that
Specific
I
thing.
do. Yeah, I notice that I do things subconsciously, and I don't know whether that's just my
kinda
habits or
like-
not. But
Good habits.
I don't know. I always say I just have to have a good coffee. That's a
It's a key.
yeah, it's a must. But
Good coffee.
I do some. Now that I know that I do it, I actually do it consciously, and I always put my right sock on first. My right sock, left sock, left, right
June
boot.
said something similar to that as
Yeah,
well.
I don't know.
He
It
said he always
wasn't a
puts
thing, but now it's a thing.
Yeah, he
so.
always said he puts his right boot on first and the left boot on.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Question 4. Who is the biggest pest on the team? And it's not me, by the way.
You should
Because
just say
someone
you can
else
still say
It's
her
not
if you
me.
want
This
to.
was me.
No,
I'm matured.
I'm gonna go with Mahalia.
Mahalia!
I'm gonna go with Mahalia.
Why? Why? For those
She's
people
just-
who don't know Mahalia, we might get her on the next podcast.
She's just, I don't know. Like in the gym, she's always like. Shout out to Mahalia. She's also a big hype girl, but
Okay.
always just
Just-
like in your face,
Yeah.
just like doing something. She's playing pranks in the change room.
Yeah,
like
poking you.
poking
Yeah,
you.
she's that
Yeah,
too.
like
Tapping your
she's,
shoulder, those ones.
yeah,
Okay,
she's
yep.
just always something.
Know exactly what you mean. All-time favorite movie?
The Lion King.
Like
The original? First
The
one?
original.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very,
absolutely.
very,
We love
very
that.
cute.
Okay. Number 6, last one. If you weren't playing rugby league professionally, what would you love to be doing besides paramedicine? Is that how you say it?
Oh, yeah.
Paramedicine.
Just make it simple.
I don't know. Like I'm kind of doing it, I guess. Like, I'd never thought this was going to be
A thing.
a thing.
Yeah.
I never thought I was going to have this opportunity and going to be playing rugby league in general, because when I grew up, it
We never seen
wasn't
it.
an
Thank you.
opportunity. But I was playing netball. I was always wanted to be an athlete, I think. And then when I thought that wasn't a reality was when I turned to paramedics. But
Did they tell you you're too short too?
yeah, they did actually.
Yeah, me too. No
What?
joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Too
told me I
short to
was-
be a paramedic?
No, they told me I was too
Netballer.
short to be a
Oh,
netballer.
netball.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
is
usually
that
half
height?
the
I was a
stories.
mid-quarter, so it
Yeah.
didn't really matter. But
Definitely,
yeah,
So okay, yeah, because they are very, very tall, aren't
Yeah.
they? How
they
tall
are.
are you?
They are.
Yeah.
But I still think we could jump higher than them all. Abby definitely could. Maybe
Yeah.
when I was 15, but yeah.
anyway, I don't know. I think I'm living it. I think I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I've got a career. I've got a beautiful family. I've got some wonderful friends and support, and
travel the world.
I get to travel. Like I haven't had to think about it, but I don't think I'd change anything, to be honest.
Perfect.
I love that.
Well,
we love a self-aware gal.
We do. Thank you so much for joining us. Kennedy, anything to add before we sign out?
Let's win a ring this year.
Absolutely.
There we
Can't
go.
wait.
It's the goal.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be watching you girls. Everyone listening, thanks for joining us. Lastly, right, Lane had a prediction. The Lane thought train was that Mitch was going to have a blinder.
Yeah, and he did.
Which he did.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got game 3 coming up. What's our predictions?
Well, game 3, New South Wales are going to win.
Yeah.
I know they've had a few changes, but that doesn't change a thing. I think Mitchie is very clear, concise on what he wants to do. I know Queensland will want to try and contain him, but I don't think they'll have the muscle enough to contain him. So New South Wales by 10, game 3.
Another Mitch Moses blinder. You heard it here first.
Lastly, I just want to say thank you for listening to our Para Podcast, the official Parramatta Eels podcast sponsored by Remitly, the quick and safe way to transfer money that millions of customers trust. Remember to watch the Gals kick off 27th of July against the Broncos, where Abbi and I will be taking part of round 1 of the NRLW this season. And remember, go Para.